Hello, and welcome to another episode of We Only Look Thin. I am one of your hosts, Donald Weigel.
And I am one of your other hosts, Catherine Weigel. And together we are your two hosts.
Yes, one host plus one host is two hosts.
Yes, we're very good at the maths. This is basically a
very
math show.
Good.
Yeah,
it was essentially.
Pie Day was this week.
Pie Day was this week. Delicious pie.
No, it's P.I. Day.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with pie.
Oh, man.
Geez, everything is pie with you. Hi, so welcome. And speaking of special pie, we have a special slice of episode for you today. And I know we always talk about having special episodes, but this is actually an actual special episode. We are taking a little bit of a departure today.
Yes, it's a little different thing for us. We are going to do an interview.
We are. So get your ears ready and your heart open and your mouth closed.
Whoa.
Shut it.
Zip it, lock it, put it in your pocket.
So as some of you know, I am part of the Half Size Me community on Facebook. And through that community, I've met a woman named Kate. And today we are going to talk to Kate about her journey, her adventure, her experience, where she was, where she is, where she's going.
And Kate has a very interesting story because she was very successful at losing weight.
I've been successful at losing weight.
And then she wasn't.
I also was not successful at losing weight.
Yes.
So we're going to talk to someone about what it is really like to be on this journey, because I think we have minced no words that this is really frigging hard.
We are not word mincers.
We are not, and we only really do look thin because I still struggle with making good choices, and I know Don struggles.
I do.
Every day.
I'm driving the struggle bus.
He is. So listen to this interview. We're going to start with this one, and then there will be more to follow. But as funny as we are, as mirthful, as enjoyable as we are, this weight loss thing is some serious business. So we so appreciate Kate talking to us about where she is and where she's going. And for all of you out there, no matter where you are, there is no beginning or end. It's just the next choice and the next choice. So any other wisdom to share, any other memes or hang in theirs to share, Donald, before we hit this interview?
No, but I do love that thing with the cat hanging.
Oh, he's so adorable.
It's great.
What's that cat doing?
It's great. I know. He's hanging in there.
What is he doing?
Hanging in there.
For what purpose?
That's what he's doing.
So please enjoy this interview. Thank you so much again to Kate for sharing your story, and sit back, relax, tuck in, and listen to this very inspiring story.
Enjoy.
Kate, can you say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Hey there. So I know Kate from the Half Size Me community. We have both been in the community. I've been in for just over 2 years, so I've been following Kate, and I think she's been following me. Kate, how long have you actually been in Half Size Me?
I think probably about 2 years as well.
Okay, excellent. So you and I have gotten to follow one another's journeys in the last 2 years. And Kate, you were actually interviewed on the Half Size Me show a few years back. So if we'll put it in the show notes if someone would like to go back and listen to Kate's full interview there. But you were interviewed just over a year ago there. Mm-hmm. And today we're going to talk a little bit. We'll start with your history and then kind of bring people up to where you are past the Half Size Me interview. So Kate, maybe you can start with telling us a little bit about when your weight became an issue for you.
Sure. I think like a lot of people, my weight first became an issue for me when I was around the preteen years. I know I joined Weight Watchers for the first time when I was 12. I believe I weighed 140 pounds at the time, which right now I would be thrilled with. But at the time, I was sure that 125 was where I needed to be. And that really started a cycle that I continued a lot of my life of joining, losing a little bit, usually no more than maybe 20 pounds, then quitting, gaining it back, gaining a little extra, joining again, and not always Weight Watchers, a million different weight programs. I did it on and off. And then when I went to college, I sort of just stopped paying attention. I graduated college about 60 pounds heavier than I started. And then I spent most of my 20s and 30s in the, say, 220 to 250 pound range, and back on that cycle of diet and stop, diet and stop, diet and stop. And then at the end of 2014, I was in my younger sister's wedding. I was a bridesmaid. And in December, when we got the pictures back, it was really eye-opening. I'm an amateur photographer. I usually take the pictures, and even when I'm in them, I get to edit and crop them. And so seeing myself through someone else's lens was really eye-opening for me. So at the beginning of 2015, my New Year's resolution, I decided it was time to really do this for what I thought would be the final time, starting for the last time. I took a quick before picture, and then I started a 6-week quick weight loss program. I lost about 20 pounds on that, and then I decided I needed to do something more sustainable. So then I joined a program called Mind, Body, and Soul, where I had a coach that I worked with, who I sent my food log every day, a picture of my weight 3 times a week, and I followed a very specific diet program.
What was the diet program? I mean, like, what were your food goals?
Sure. So it was set up where foods were split into categories. So for breakfast, I would have a dairy and a fruit. So I would either have a yogurt or 2 string cheese and 17 grapes. Or an apple. And then lunch.
I've counted
17 is very specific.
Yes, it was very specific and very, looking at it now, it feels pretty restrictive. But at the time, it felt good to me. It felt like a very specific plan that I could follow, that I could stick to, that I could know that I was doing it well. And it was livable. I mean, I lived that way for 2 years. So it wasn't so restrictive that I couldn't do it. I ate out while I was on plan. I lived my life. And by the end of 2016, I was within 10 pounds of my goal. I weighed 160, which I haven't weighed since early high school. And I thought I had it set. I thought I was good. I was going to maintain. I was in Half Size Me to learn about maintaining. I was shouting to the world, I did this. I succeeded. I'm here. I'm at goal. I'm staying here forever. I'm never going back. And
yeah.
Then I started going back.
So at that point in losing your weight, did you work out with that coach the entire time you were losing?
I did that the entire time I was losing.
And we've talked about it before, too. In the Gretchen Rubin world, you've talked about being an obliger, which means that you like external accountability and sharing your, like you said, your weight and your food log. So when you got to your goal, did you continue sending that log in, or did you stop the relationship with the coach?
So I actually still continued because I never quite made it to my goal. I was about 10 pounds away from my goal and feeling really good. And then I started to slide back a little. To step out for a second, at that point, I went on the Today Show. My mom had asked me if she could write in because in the 4th hour, Hoda and Kathy Lee would do a segment where they had people come on who'd lost a lot of weight. And she asked if she could submit me.
Yeah, we actually watched that. We actually watched it earlier today. It's pretty cool, pretty inspirational.
Thanks.
It is, and we all know that snap shots in life tell the entire story of a journey.
Yeah, exactly.
So how was that? So your mom put your name in and you were picked for the show.
Yeah, and it really was a pretty whirlwind experience. I think they called me on a Wednesday or Thursday and asked if I could come on Monday to be on the show.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
Yes. And I work in Manhattan. So when they asked me where I was located, because they're willing to fly you in from wherever, when they learned I was just down the street, I think that might have upped my chances a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
You
yeah.
still wanted to fly from Newark to LaGuardia and then have them pick you up and then
Yeah. You were like, no,
Like, I want my money's worth.
I need a private jet from.
Yes. So it was a really great experience. It was exciting. It was fun. And like I said, at that point, I truly felt excited to share, to the world. Look, I did it. I'm a success. I lost all this weight. I'm never going back. I did it. And in that segment, they shared pictures of me at my sister's wedding, which is what I had mentioned was sort of the catalyst to get me started. And I felt great. I left that and I felt wonderful. And then it was the holidays and I was in a new relationship and I started just sort of letting go a little bit of the reins. And at first I gained, maybe 10 pounds. And I thought, like, this is fine. I can gain 10 pounds. I can lose 10 pounds again quickly. I'll just get back on track in a few days.
What did your, so you were still committed to working with your coach. So how did you deal with that regain with your coach? Did you try to hide it? Did you try to justify it? Sort of how did that process work?
I justified it. I definitely didn't hide it because, it's hard to do that when you're sending your weight, a picture of your weight and what I eat. But I would say to her the same way that I was justifying to myself, I just want to celebrate this particular Tuesday, random day.
Taco Tuesday is a big day of celebration around our house, so I understand. For sure. Exactly. I've been doing a lot of celebrating myself recently. So that was in January 2017?
Yes.
So tell us about what happened next.
And it just sort of continued in a sort of snowball. At first it was those 10 pounds, and then I might lose a couple of them and then gain 5 back. But I kept telling myself all different things along the way. I've gained 20 pounds, but I'm still wearing a size 8. I never would have imagined being able to wear a size 8. That's fine. And then I gained more. And then it was, I'm wearing a size 12. I would have been really happy in a size 12 if you asked me when I was a size 26. This is fine. And so on and so on until, continuing. And eventually, maybe after I had gained about 30 pounds back, I quit Mind, Body, and Soul, stopped working with my coach. I said, this isn't really my focus right now, and I don't think it's really working for me. I'm going to do it on my own, and I'll be fine. So then I had no accountability, and I wasn't telling anyone. And then I sort of started retreating from everything. I stopped weighing myself. Yeah. I tried to somehow hide from myself that I was shopping for bigger sizes with a lot of thoughts of this is just temporary. I'm just doing this for right now. And in no time, I'll be back to where I was. And by now, at this point, I've gained more than 100 pounds back. I am fully back to shopping plus size. And I can't hide anymore from myself that I've gained almost all of the weight back.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're very brave to come on our show today, and I really appreciate you sharing your story. I think that one of the messages that we try to get across, and I think I first heard it from Heather at Half Size Me, was there is no finish line to this. And Catherine and I have each lost over 100 pounds, but the name of the show is We Only Look Thin, and I think that the idea there is that this whole thing is hanging on by a thread. And I think that we could be right back where we were without a whole lot of effort. And I think that, you coming on and talking about this may help us and others from backsliding. So do you think that do you think that your appearance on the Today Show contributed in some way to this? Do you think that that was sort of I've made it, so I can relax moment?
I think it might. I think I might have gotten a little bit cocky and a little bit sure that I was good. And I also think there were a lot of factors that happened to come into play all at once. I was on the show about a week before Christmas, and Christmas, is a big time for lots of food around. And then it's New Year's, and then it's, there's just lots and lots of
President's Day. And we've been, well, and I mean, I know I'm joking, but I think I've been candid about, I'm up on the scale about 10 pounds from Christmas, and I see my trajectory going against my better judgment time and time again. Oh, it's the Super Bowl. Oh, it's Arbor Day. Oh, it's, Groundhog Day. You got to have your Groundhog Day cake. And, I've found myself making small excuse after small excuse. And so, as Dawn said, we've each lost and gained weight many times over. And I say with sobriety that I know what is it? Robert De Niro is like, oh, he gained 50 pounds for a role. He's amazing. I was like, you give me 5 days, I will gain that weight. Like, that is a dare.
That's not an accomplishment. Like, yeah. I could do that without much effort at all.
Yeah. So, but seeing you as someone who knows you from our community and who saw your Today Show post, I know frankly, was kind of jealous that you were on the Today Show. I was like, boy, must be nice.
Must be nice.
My point of jealousy. But I'm like, seriously, I was like, oh boy, man, she's really made it. And like, I think it is a reminder that there really is no end point here. There is just the next choice and the next choice. And, knowing that for me, I retreat, I hide when I gain. And I saw you in our half size community kind of falling into the shadows a little bit. And, I think every once in a while, I would kind of go, oh, hey, what's up? How are you doing? And, go, oh, I'm good. And, kind of, there's a balance between suddenly being very public and being interviewed. You were interviewed on Half Size Me. I was interviewed on Half Size Me. And there's a bit of a reputation to uphold. Do you feel like that reputation kind of made you retreat even more so than you might have if you hadn't been so public?
Absolutely. I think both in terms of groups like Half Size Me and in my, real life, it's really, really hard that I went and yelled, look at me, I succeeded, and then gained almost all of it back. And just recently, someone posted in the Half Size Me group about having listened to my story. I think it was one of the first ones she listened to, and it really impacted her, and she cried listening to it. And the message was so nice, and I felt like a total fraud. I mean, I read it and I burst into tears for a lot of reasons, because it was really nice to hear that I impacted someone that way, and because it was really, really hard to hear that and know that I'm just about back to where I started. I felt like a fraud at that point.
Well, so I know that this is really huge for you to talk about, and I honestly am so grateful that you came forward, I think maybe a week or so ago, and reached out to me and said that you wanted to share your story. And I hope everyone listening understands that any success and any failure is temporary. All of it is a snapshot in time. If you had a bad day, if you had a great day, it's just a single point in time. And whether it's captured on film or, by a wedding photographer or on the Today Show or in an interview, it doesn't mean that your situation is locked. And, I think for you coming forward and reaching out to us and wanting to share your story, I think it's the promise of a new day and a new chapter for you. And, nobody knows where that's going to go. But why don't you talk a little bit about reaching out to us and kind of letting us know what your plan is now that you've come forward, you've shared where you are right now, but where are you going next? What are you going to do differently this time?
I am really excited now. I feel like I'm starting over, a fresh new start. Although, like you said, it's always a point in time. So it's not really a start. It's just the next chapter. And one morning I was listening to you guys while I was drying my hair and getting ready for work, and thinking about how I really need to make changes, and how am I going to do this? How am I going to give myself some additional accountability? And I immediately stopped with my hair half dry and sat down and sent you a message through Facebook that I'd really love to do it together with you guys and come on the podcast and maybe be there for other people who are like me, either in that they're at a point where they've gained back and they're dealing with all the feelings that come along with that, or if they're towards the beginning of their journey. It's really inspirational to me to hear you guys and where you are now. But I also know that it would have helped me when I was starting out to hear someone who was also starting out. So this time I am approaching it a little differently. I'm going at it from a little bit more of a slow and steady changes kind of way, which we didn't talk at all about my exercise plan last time, but last time I did that very gradually, and I'm going to do the same again. So the first things that I'm starting out with, starting tomorrow, I am cutting out sugar, not all sugar, but desserts. I have a real weakness for candy, cookies, ice cream, any sort of sweet treat, and I'll make
good tasting food.
That's because they're delicious is the problem there.
Yes.
No, but we've talked about it before. You know, it would be nice if we lived in a world where we could control ourselves around certain things. And we talked about this too, was Gretchen Rubin's idea of abstaining versus moderating, which we've talked about in another episode. And there are just some times you have to abstain. And I know maybe that might not be a popular thought, but right now it sounds like you staying away from active sugar, not sugar in ketchup. No one gained 100 pounds from ketchup, though it does go delicious with French fries. Yeah. But you said you were going to abstain.
So why are you starting tomorrow? Why not start today?
Man, you're pushy.
I know. It's jerk time.
Well, part of it for me is that, I have no good reason for that.
That's fair. No, you gotta do it when you're ready. I get it.
No, but she posted, look, she sent me this morning, she sent photos of, there's no before and after. It's before, and today. There's no end here. So one thing that she did today also, she joined our private accountability group on Facebook.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Mark Zuckerberg. But we're doing a 30-day accountability group. So Kate has joined our accountability group. She shared there. She shared her photos. I know, Kate, you're also sort of taking your stats where you are right now. So it's a huge step. And but sugar is a big part of that. So
So stopping sugar, drinking more water. When I was losing weight, I drank a ton of water. Lately, I drink zero water. I drink Diet Pepsi all day, every day. And I need to switch that back. So I'm going to stop sugar. I'm going to drink water, and I'm going to increase my steps. And then additionally, I'm really going to work on journaling, both what I eat and a little bit about the feelings around everything, because I think, it all goes together. It's all what's in your head. It was interesting. This morning, I did pull together some pictures. I took pictures of where I am right now so that I'll have them to see progress as I go. And I also set some of them next to pictures of where I was at the end of 2016. And it really just pointed out to me how much it's all in your head, because I look at that now and I feel like I look so small. And at that point, I know all I saw were the parts of me that I still felt were too big.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of mind work to all of this. So I'm going to try to work on that with journaling, and then the accountability of the Facebook group, the accountability of updating you guys on how I'm doing. I'm really excited. And I'm feeling like I'm approaching this from a real place of getting back to where I felt healthiest and best, not just about the number on the scale, but about the energy I felt, how much stronger my body felt, all those pieces, more than just focusing always on what the next number is I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, I like the sound of all of that. That sounds great. In addition to the giving up sugar, are you counting calories or what's your plan there?
So for this very first phase, I'm not. I think I will add that. My thought right now is to stick to really eating real foods, which to me means focusing more on proteins, vegetables, fruits, and less on a lot of the packaged foods that I've been relying on and the sugar. And, managing my portions and eating what I feel is healthy. And then I'll add in counting the calories probably in the next phase.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. I mean, like, I think that, something we've talked about on the show is doing like gentle changes that you can maintain. And it sounds like you're doing that, not jumping into going to the gym 6 days a week and dropping calories to 1,200, which I think is a recipe for failure, really.
Right.
It sounds like you're, focusing on getting your head on straight, which is, the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, one thing is just a side question that I know you had brought up in the Today Show interview was that you also participated in the diet bet, which I know is you opt in with a certain amount of money and you lose, if you lose an percentage of your weight in a certain amount of time, you get part of the pot back, I guess. I know you thrive on outer accountability. Do you feel like Diet Bet was a benefit to you, or do you feel like maybe it worked against you in the end?
I do feel like it really helped me, but I also feel like it does drive that attitude of it being all about the number, because it's to lose 4% of your weight in 4 weeks. So at this point, I don't think that's something I want to get back into. However, I am considering doing a step bet again, which they have another version. It connects to your Fitbit. It also works with other trackers, I think, but Fitbit is the one that I use. So it'll look at your Fitbit and at your average steps that you've been taking over the past number of weeks. And then they set you a goal. And in each week, you have to do 4 days at your goal, 2 days at your stretch goal, and you have 1 rest day. And
that doesn't sound too bad, actually.
No. And
what if you just sent us money every 4 days or something? And then
that sounds
maybe
good
we'll
too.
give you some back at the end. Totally not a pyramid scheme or you reached out to us. It's not.
Yeah, we didn't.
We're the victims here.
Yeah.
No. But I think that accountability or that external accountability is it can be important. I know, I joined Weight Watchers 1,000 times and sent them money for decades and went up on the scale. And, I love our little community that we've started on Facebook that is just about setting small goals. And I'm so glad that you just joined. We just started it yesterday. So
and it's free to join. I don't know if the enrollment period is still open.
Oh, it's closed.
Yeah,
you're out.
okay.
No, it's St. Patrick's Day to Tax Day, which is almost 30 days.
By the time we actually post this, it'll be just about Tax Day.
It'll be over.
Yeah,
you're too late.
So maybe
people.
there'll be a new one coming. But,
so our goal when you reached out was to, see how it goes, be a source of support for you. We decided that what we'll do with Kate over the coming months is check in with her every 2 weeks, see how she's doing. We're going to be in this Facebook group together for accountability, and you seem to thrive with sharing your food journal and weight goals. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And we'll check in with you every other week to kind of see how things are going, what's working, what's not working, what you're going to modify. This is coming from a place of a host and hostess who are clawing their way every day to try to maintain positive habits. So we're definitely in this together. And, I think both Dawn and I thrive on accountability and holding one another up to standards. So,
and how do you think that we can help you? Like, what can we do for you? I mean, can we be jerks? Is that the best way? Being a jerk?
You're already a jerk.
I want to be a jerk. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. What do you think is the best way? Like, if somebody had called you out in those early days after the Today Show, do you think that would have helped, or what would help now?
You know what?
2-part question.
Yeah, it's really hard to say what would have helped in those early days. I'm not sure that there is anything that someone else could have done. I feel like, like I was saying, so much of it is in my own head and being in the right place. And for whatever reason, I wasn't at that point. I'm not sure what could have changed it. At this point, though, I think the accountability of the Facebook group and the accountability of knowing that I'm going to be checking in with you guys every couple weeks, those things are going to help a lot. I would say not being a jerk, but holding me accountable.
Aw, good cop, bad cop.
I also think there have been too many times in my life that I've said to someone really close to me, my mom or a good friend, let's be each other's accountability partners. And then as soon as one person wants to give in, we're both like, let's have an ice cream sundae.
I think that Catherine and I have done that to each other many times over the years.
But I mean, and Gretchen Rubin talks about this too, that having a single point of accountability is a lot of pressure, because as soon, it's almost like a Ouija board, like the ice cream sundae party, which we would have to have over the telephone, I guess. But but there is an opportunity to be like, oh, what's the big deal? Like,
we could video Skype the ice cream party.
We're not having an ice cream party.
Oh, we're not.
No.
The idea is not to do that. Dang it!
Damn it!
Dang it! I'm confused. Okay, I'm good now.
But I think I am excited about the Facebook group and being accountable there. And Kate, I think you're going to do some checking in offline as well, outside of the group.
Well, and selfishly, I'm hoping that this helps Catherine and I to not get too confident and keep ourselves on track. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I'm confident. I'm like, yeah, I can handle eating whatever I want for a few days. I'll be fine. And I have to remind myself that, no, I'm not fine. I only look thin.
I only also look thin. And, and one thing I think, Kate, I talked to you a little bit about is that, I do track calories, and I've been tracking for 2+ years. And in December, we obviously have the holiday excuses, and I gained, I was at almost my lowest weight right before Christmas, the day before Christmas. And, I have steadily gained in the last 3 months. And it's been those justifications of, oh, it's the Super Bowl. Oh, we're going to an Oscar event. Oh, it's, this special occasion. And I realized that I was tracking the days, but not the trend. Mm-hmm. And literally this last week, like no joke, I was like, why am I up on the scale? It's not fair. And one of the other people in our community sent me a thing about sort of counting calories in a zigzag way and trends over time. And I looked, and I have been going over my calories like by 400 or 500 calories a day for the last 4 months or 3 months. And I was like, why is this happening? Oh, because I'm eating all the food. I hadn't even realized it. So I was keeping the data, but I wasn't actually looking at my trend. And this has been the first week this year that I have stayed in a calorie deficit. My trend was 10 pounds. If I hadn't kind of stopped and woken up, I could be up another 10 pounds and another. And then I would have the role that Robert De Niro would have in his movie. That's how it works, right? If you gain 50 pounds, you get to be in a Robert De Niro
you get a role
movie.
And you win an Academy Award
and then
you're so
Meet
brave.
the Deedles or Meet the Fockers or something.
All those things. You're gonna meet somebody with an interesting last name.
Yeah. So we are so happy that you reached out
and
to us.
I'm very proud of you for opening up and telling your story. It's, you said to us before we started recording that it's a lot easier to go public when you're, being successful. So I know this is hard and we appreciate it. And, I'm hoping that you can inspire others to, get on track and stay on track. And I know you're inspiring me right now.
As it is happening.
Well, thank you so much. I just want to say, I really appreciate this. I appreciate that you guys are being so public and are sharing that it's hard even when you are at your goal. I think that sort of honesty hopefully helps people from getting to the finish line mentality and then losing it all.
For sure. Well,
so do you, how you feeling? You feel good? Or is there anything else you want to get in before we sign off?
Nope, I feel good. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate this.
Excellent.
Thank you. All right. Do you want to do the inspiration thing with us?
Dawn and Catherine are an inspiration. She's not going to say that.
She's not going to do it. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We'll do it on our own.
All right. So thank you so much. We will continue.
Yeah, we'll check in with you in a couple weeks. And, obviously people can... you can post whatever you want on the Facebook page of ours, and we can, have, people check in the meantime that way. And we will get you back on the podcast in 2 weeks.
Great. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Awesome. All right. And are we hanging up now, or are we fake hanging up like they do on...
We'll fake hang up now.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
It's time to hang up now. Goodbye.
Click.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.